And Vuyo, good afternoon to you. And we are edging closer to election day. And as IEC Chair Glenn Mashinini put it, the next 78 days will see some of the most robust campaigning seen in our short democracy. And that's what the Code of Conduct is all about.
Yes, indeed, Natasha. The Code of Conduct covers a whole range of things, from violence and intimidation to language that candidates and parties are using, to all forms of improper conduct that may be seen. Of course, the Electoral Court being the judge and the adjudicator of most of such contraventions. The IEC chairperson putting it very succinctly, but also talking about the benefits to the parties of signing the Code of Conduct that they signed earlier. Let's take a very short clip from just what he said about why it was so important for the 13 parties that are represented in Parliament to sign this Code of Conduct earlier this morning.
The Electoral Act requires that the Code of Conduct must be subscribed to by all parties and candidates before they may be allowed to contest an election. This ensures that all contestants are aware of the rules of the game before it is played. The purpose of the code, therefore, is to ensure a level playing field for all the contestants. Ladies and gentlemen, today is particularly crucial because it's a day in which the leaders before us of the South Africa's 13 nationally represented political parties will stand before you, South Africans, and to publicly and personally pledge to abide by the rules that will ensure the elections are free and fair.
Well, of course, Judge Jeremiah Shongwe is the person leading the court that will ensure that in the case of contraventions, parties, those will be looked into via a very fair and open and transparent judicial process, and those that would have been found to have contravened do indeed face the consequences that will be meted out. He joins me now, the Judge President of the Electoral Court, Judge Shongwe. Judge, thanks very much for talking to us. Perhaps if I may start with the significance or importance of political parties signing the pledge they signed this morning.
It is very important. In fact, after hearing them today, I thought there may be no need for an electoral court to sit. Having said what they said, the pledge that they made, promising to use the correct language, and promising to do everything right. If one has to go by their word, then there will be no need for any dispute.
Well, as people often say, it's easier for politicians to make promises than to actually deliver on them. Take us through the processes, if you will. If someone is found to have contravened any of the provisions, what happens to them? What are the sort of processes that must be followed?
Well, the whole thing starts with a complaint. If there's a complaint, which is referred to the IEC then deals with the complaint, and if any of the parties is aggrieved, then he would then approach the Electoral Court, either by reviewing the decision of the IEC or by an appeal against the decision of the IEC. And the court will then invite the parties to make submissions to it, that is all the interested parties to make their submissions, and the court will then, if necessary, sit in order to hear oral argument. Otherwise, the court would then deal with the matter in chambers and advise the parties as to the outcome of the decision of the court.
Well, we're about 11, 12 weeks before we get to that all-important election on the 3rd of August. So, which makes the time within which you can make all the interventions, process whatever complaint that is brought before you fairly short. Do you have the capacity to be able to move with speed with virtually everything that will come before you?
Yes, I believe we do have the capacity. And the resources. The Electoral Court is a specialized court. It deals with electoral matters only. So problems may crop up before elections, during elections, and after elections. So the Electoral Court is well equipped to deal with all those matters. And as I said, it is a specialized court dealing with issues as and when they crop up.
Just casting your eyes back and looking at previous elections, any particular areas or that perhaps people need to look out for or watch out, any red flags?
Well, I'm sure that the IEC is well equipped to have taken care of all groundwork that they should have done to avoid complaints. The only thing that I can mention is the caution, and also to advise the leaders to talk to their followers, because I think it should come from up to bottom for the followers to understand what is expected of them. That is very important. The
politicians who are here should be as good as their word, and they should be the one leading their followers.
Absolutely.
Judge Jeremiah Shongwe, thank you very much. The Judge President of the Electoral Court, talking to us about, of course, what his work involves as the person who will have to adjudicate in the event there are issues that the IEC itself, or between the IEC and the respective political parties, issues cannot be handled. Of course, his court will be the final arbiter in such matters. Of course, you heard him saying that he has both the capacity and the resources to deal with such matters with the speed that they will require. That's why we're going to leave it. And with that, it's back to you, Natasha, in the studio.
Vuyo, thank you very much. Our contributing editor, Vuyo Mvoko, live from Gallagher Estate in Midrand.